I want to like go and get some Lorcana cards. I found this guy. He's like an hour away. He says we'll have to meet him in a parking lot. He only has the starter decks. There are no booster packs in them, and we're like, okay, let's do it.
Welcome back to Uninkable Dads. And before we bring in today's guest, Glenn, I just wanted to check something with you. You did tell them this was a Lorcana podcast, right? And not just an hour of you explaining what your latest deck does. Because today's guests actually know what they're doing when it comes to Lorcana content, recently hitting 20,000 subs on YouTube and starting their brand new podcast, Wishful Winking.
We've been putting out great videos for the past 3 years, helping players learn the game, build decks, and keep up with everything happening in the community. Which probably means they're far more organised than we are.
Yep, definitely. So we're here. We're very excited to have the duo from the Inkborn Heroes. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate, obviously, you guys taking time out of your busy schedule. The Inkborn Heroes channel, you know, it's one of those ones that everyone goes to for that reveal season. You know, reveals and says, right, let's go see what's happening. So, but from you guys, what sort of gets you most excited about the new set?
Well, go on first, Charlie.
Well, I think first and foremost, we still approach it as like people who play the game. So we're always like seeing the new cards and thinking of like possibilities for new decks. But I don't know if I think primarily we started as collectors, so it's still the enchanted art is what gets us the most hyped. So as soon as we start seeing the enchanted, we're like, okay, the new set is really coming. So that's probably it for me.
I think the same for me as well, but it's a funny one because I feel like in the previous sets, like some time ago, we will only get that information at the end of the review season. But then nowadays, I think since 1 or 2 sets ago, sometimes they drop like an enchanted in the middle of review season. And then my brain can't process. I'm like, are we already at the end of the review season? And I check the numbers. No, there's still a lot to go. So as Charlie said, it's really cool. And then seeing the iconic as well, of course, is super, super cool as well, since Fable, right? But I think it's a combination, because it's a funny process, because of the speed that sometimes we try to post things, especially on Instagram, right? Because we will start straight away on Instagram, and then at the end of the day or every other day, we try to make a video summarizing on the cards of those 2 days or 1 day. Because of that, a lot of times I can't even process what the card is because I'm trying to be so fast to post it. And then when we get to the flow of actually reviewing in the videos on YouTube, that's when I actually click. I was like, oh my God, this is the effect of this card. And then a lot of times Charlie is already ahead of me. He knows already about the card, and it's like almost a double surprise to me. A surprise from seeing the art and then a surprise from processing the information. So that whole flow actually I find quite interesting because I think it gives me a chance, even though it's a weird answer, it gives me a chance to see from 2 perspectives. One from the excitement without actually formalizing the gameplay, and one from the gameplay analysis behind it. So yeah, it's super, super cool. But definitely the Enchanted for us. Definitely the Enchanted, yeah. How about you guys?
Yeah, same really. You know, you've got all the build up, especially since the epics and stuff as well now as well. That adds that extra bit of hype into it. And you know, we look at these cards and we're trying to guess like, oh, this card's gonna be really good, this card's gonna be that, and then you never know. You know, the amount of times we've said, oh, this card's broken, and then you give it like 2 weeks and something else is revealed, and you're like, no, that's broken.
Yeah,
you know, so it's always a good time. But
yeah, I love that like, at the start when you see a card and like, this card is just terrible, like no one's ever gonna play it, and then a few days later you get another card and it's like, oh my goodness, now I see what they're trying to do.
It closes together, and I think part of that as well is every single set we're like, is Ruby finally getting a shot now? And then we see a Ruby card. Is it going to be a good Ruby legendary? And then it turns out that it's not. But hopefully very soon the pieces will come together. Yeah,
I definitely keep my fingers crossed on that as a Sapphire Ruby player. It's like, come on, I need a good Ruby card.
So if you could pick any character then to get an enchanted in Wilds Unknown, what would your chase enchanted be?
That is so tough. So which Pixar franchises are coming with Wilds Unknown? So it's definitely Toy Story.
So Toy Story. Brave, and Incredibles for sure. Yeah, so we know those so far. I think those were the confirmed. Maybe there's going to be another one we don't know yet. But along those...
I think I would love to see a Syndrome from Incredibles. I think just... there was an interview from an artist like a long time ago, and they were saying they enjoy doing the villains more because the villains in Disney are like so different, like the body shapes, the design, like they're very unique. And I think that kind of lends itself to an Enchanted. So I'd love to see Syndrome, but I'm also like a huge Toy Story fan. So Bullseye or Slinky Dog, I think would be my two favorite from Toy Story. I'd love to see
for sure. And I think they have to do You Got a Friend in Me, that music, right? They have to have a song Enchanted. I think we expect, at least that's our thought process, is the iconics will be a Buzz and Woody, right? We never know, because the previous sets they didn't follow the logic anymore, but we would expect that, I think. But in terms of all the other characters, even though I really think that pretty much all the new franchises will get an Enchanted. I think it's something that they're starting to follow, which is really cool, right? To represent the sets in a way that is more rare, right? Especially if you look at Winter Spell and Whispers in the Well. But I would love a Marry the Card Enchanted, just to see the different treatment, because they always try to do a different art style per Enchanted set, right? So whatever that style is, it'll be super cool to see Merida represented there, I think, or her three brothers. There'll be super cool one card with all three siblings, maybe as bears or maybe as humans, but I don't know. There's so many options, really. Yeah. I don't know. It's such a hard question, because I think we'll know more as we see more cards. And then I'll be like, I want that card specifically, but right now it's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's it. We've said before that Pixar is just introducing so much to this, right? There's so much they can do, and we're starting off with three absolute powerhouse. Toy Story, Brave, and Incredibles aren't exactly small movies in the Pixar realm. So it's you've got so much possibility there.
It's gonna be
so yeah, it'd be exciting to see. I think like you say, with the styling of the Enchanted, where we've got this Wilds Unknown theme. I wonder if they're going to go down a jungle theme potentially, which could look really nice. And like you say, with the villains as well, I never really noticed that until you said that the villain cards seem to have that little bit more flair to them, don't they? When you really look at them, they kind of got a little bit more leeway on where they want to go with them. They can kind of like, you imagine this, a princess, it is the princess, whereas the villain, they've got a bit more flexibility with it. So yeah, I like that. I never really thought about that.
I'm curious to see, for sure. Sorry to cut you. I think it would be genius to have Edna Mode. Oh my God, how do you say in English? Edna Mode card, probably in Sapphire, maybe something to do with items, maybe costumes. Maybe she's designing. We were playing around the other day, like talking about. I'm going completely on a tangent here, so I apologize. But we're talking about Imagine an effect where she is making the costumes it's almost like an item or a card that allows you to turn into a super, because we know there's the new classification super, which is almost like the Floodborn, allowing you to shift without being Floodborn, because you're pretty much putting a super costume. So imagine if it was an item that allows you to have that super classification somehow, because she's costuming or making those clothing, right? So I just imagine something along those lines, and then imagine Enchanted about that. It would be fantastic. But yeah, sorry, carry on. I just had that in my head. I was like, I want to drop that idea out there.
To be honest with you, that links perfectly into the next one, because we had Chris on from Inquiry last week, and he was saying about Attack of the Vines. He had an idea with the doors and locations from Monsters Inc. So the doors and then the scream canisters could be the items, and you move them between. So we were going to ask you, what if you could introduce a mechanic? What mechanic do you think really could come with this Pixar set?
I'm picking Edna Mode, so it's your turn now, Charlie.
Oh, that's tricky. Oh my goodness. I honestly can't think of one. I would yeah. I can't think of one. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think anything to do maybe in the story of one of those three franchises. Maybe something around on the gameplay. Again, of course, we have the characteristic of the Incredibles, but then how can we apply that to every single card? Because you can't just, I suppose you can, but it's trickier if you're just picking one franchise and doing a mechanic just for one franchise. It's a hard question. I feel like as designers, we should know how to answer.
I'm not a game designer.
But yeah, for me, like I said, in my mind, exactly. In my mind was all about the super classification, because I do think that we introduce a new mechanic somehow. It might not be as impactful as Boost. And what I mean by impactful, I just mean going across every single element of the game, as it was like all about Whispers in the Well and the Boost, right? I don't think it'll be like that or locations, but I do think that they will probably be introduced maybe a change in the keyword or a change in a classification. That's why I thought it would fit really well, especially going from Winter Spell with Darkwing Duck, right? I think it was the first card that they introduced the super classification or keyword, no classification. Yeah?
It was
classification, right? Super.
yeah, I don't
Classification.
remember.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
So I think I would imagine that they're just dropping some hints here and there, and then now for Pixar they're gonna embrace that somehow. That's why I was thinking about this whole Edna
It
mode
would make sense.
mode approach. But
I like that
who
idea
knows,
because
yeah.
it that can potentially enable, you know, sort of theme decks. You're not necessarily just, as you say, like you enable the boost mechanic, you're enabling everything, right? You're just kind of making the strong deck stronger as well. But that might be a way of, you know, bringing some theme decks or some sort of niche decks and giving them a little more clout in the game, which would be really nice to see.
Sure. And I think they're trying, right? If you see, like, even the way that they're approaching more less meta decks for the past 1 or 2 sets, or especially with Winterspell, right? So I think it's the way to go, having more tools to allow that. And if we've seen other examples of shifting in the past, right, with Baymax, with the Morph, so it makes sense. They're experimenting with things. Of course, I don't know how that rule will work. I don't know how it will be applicable. How could you shift to anything that is wearing the super card or the super classification? So it's a hard one, but I think it'll be cool for sure. Yeah. Well, can't wait to find out very, very soon.
Yeah.
So we all know now if this comes out, then you know, insider information. You know,
No, imagine it's exactly that. They'll be like, "Oh my god, they're leaking. We're
God.
not leaking anything. I don't know anything."
well, obviously with the next set, obviously just before that, obviously this video will go live this Friday. So 1 day away from when this goes live is obviously the start of set champs. So will you guys be competing in set champs yourself?
Yes, so we have 2 scheduled actually for this first weekend. So we're doing one on Saturday and then one on Sunday. And then I think that's pretty much the only ones we're doing because it's the 2 kind of stores we play in. So excited. I still don't know if either of us are really locked in on which deck we're taking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be where we're playing in Montreal, Quebec. It's going to probably be very heavy on Blue Steel, we're guessing, right? And maybe Blurple and Dogs.
Yeah, there was just a CCQ in Montreal this last weekend, and I think like 30% of the decks were Blurple. So there's like a very high concentration of Blurple at the moment in the local area. So I think that can kind of give us a predictor of what we might see. But we also, like, most of the people who are playing are friends of ours, so we're all just kind of like secretly not telling each other what we're playing.
We've been practicing against each other, right? Because we go to the locals and we're trying our decks, we're experimenting. But I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to trick each other, come with something completely different and unexpected. But it's all just fun and games. There's the places we go are not very serious, are very competitive. Until sometimes some sharks will come because they realize that that's the place to get the wins, right? But it's been very, very nice. Yeah. But as Charlie said, just because of schedule, we can only do this first weekend. So we're going to do Saturday and Sunday. And then hopefully for the best, getting something out of those. And then it's just DLC Brazil and review season. So that's going to be the focus for the next steps.
Yeah, but we're quite lucky in that Montreal, there are probably like, I want to say 20 local game stores within like I don't know, 25-mile radius of us. So it's like very easy to go to set champs, and we just kind of pick and choose the ones that have the best crowds, to be honest. And we're like, we know like a bunch of people who are going to be playing, so we just go to that one. But I remember like back in the early days when it was the Stitch, and we were like actually driving out right into the sticks just because there was like a set champs that was only 16 players, and we're like, this gives us our best shot of getting the Stitch promo card.
That was probably the one we played the most, right?
Yeah, we were just grinding them. I think like everyone was.
Every weekend we were like, let's grind. It was fun. Are you guys playing at all?
Yeah, we've both got one Saturday, so it's a bit like you guys. Really, it's one of our local ones. Nice. I think there's 5 or 6 kids that are going to be there as well. That's so cool. So yeah, it'd be good. Looking forward to it. It's normally a fun one. So yeah, we've got that on this week, and then I think I'm doing another 2 or 3, and I think Glenn's doing a couple, but. Yeah, we'll squeeze a few in here and there. So,
do you have access to many places over there? Are there a lot of local game stores?
There is, I'd say, within like an hour's drive. I'd say you can get to quite a few if you're willing to travel like an hour.
That's not bad. Yeah.
There's about 3 or 4 within half hour's drive, so relatively close. And then like outside of that, you've got another like 6 or 7. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not too bad. They're all pretty good stores and stuff. So we enjoy going to most of them. But yeah, it's one of our local ones this weekend. So we're looking forward to that. Like I say, it's always that bit more fun when it's all the community. Like I said, we're all sort of second guessing each other and what we're going to take.
Yeah.
So we have our local nights on Friday as well. So we'll have our local nights on Friday and then the set champs on Saturday. So you can guarantee no one's playing their set champ.
Exactly.
It's going to be something completely random. But yeah, no, it's always a good one.
Yeah, we're having, because we usually play on Fridays in our main local. But then because of Easter, they just announced that they won't open that day. And then I was like, oh, it would have been the last shot to try tricking people of what we're bringing the next day. But it's fine.
The last shot to practice, you mean?
Or the last shot to practice. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So if you potentially could end up going up against each other, then which of you is the better? Yeah. So which of you is the better Lorcana player?
So
and who thinks they're the better Lorcana player?
Actually, the answer is the same. Charlie's the better Lorcana player, and we know he's a better Lorcana player between us. He just doesn't think.
I think
we know.
Yeah, we normally strategically, because for whatever reason, we normally meet in the semifinals.
Always.
So we normally will strategically look who is the other person likely to go through to the finals, and we'll just put whoever has the better deck up against them.
Yeah. So usually, like every time, we're hoping that we're not going to play against each other. And then it gets to that point, either semifinal, never final, right?
We never met in the final.
It was always semifinal, and then at that point, I'm like, usually I just say, just go, because I just don't have the energy anymore. And he's a better player. I said, I don't care. You can have this win. Yeah. We still play it though. We still go through the process of playing, but right at the end, I'll stop questing, and then I'm like, okay, it's your turn, and it's fine. I mean, everyone knows in the shop. It's just he enjoys more, I think, the competitive side. In a friendly environment, because I don't think you like huge competitions, right? But Charlie is a way better player, to be honest. And I think he usually stick to meta decks or decks that maybe it's not fully meta, but there's a lot of logic and strategy behind it. On my end, I often just like playing those crazy decks, those fun decks that surprise the other player, right? Or when I really want a card, sometimes I'll just come and bring an aggro deck just to really try to win through aggro, but not very serious though.
Yeah, Matthias is a hyper aggro player, so the set was it Shimmering Skies when everyone was playing red blue. Matthias brought hyper aggro and just completely destroyed the whole room of people. So.
It was good. I just loved that the Daisy Duck Donald State. So she was like really, really good. But I was originally a Ruby Amethyst deck. That's why I made the joke about Ruby earlier in the video, because I miss playing Ruby Amethyst and having all the power and all the control, right? But I also understand how everyone was playing that, right? Because it got to a point that was so strong and so powerful. But I do miss it. I hope I can one day go back to Ruby Amethyst.
Yeah, I think it's getting there. It's not far off. A few more little tools here and there, and I think it'd be all right.
Some uninkable removal would be nice. No, wait, some inkable removal. It's just too many uninkables right now.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So the obviously with set champs, what's the part of set champs do you think you enjoy the most? Is it like you say, is it the competitive side of things? Is it the prizing at your stores and stuff? What drives you to go out and play in the set champs?
It's 100% the prizing. To be honest, like neither of us really started Lorcana as competitive players, and it's always been about getting the cards, completing the collection. So when we had the first set championships, we were like, we really want this card. People are charging like $600. It was at the time here. So if we want this card and we don't want to spend a bunch of money, we're gonna have to just like take a good deck and win it that way. So that was kind of what got us into the set champs. I think now when the cards are like worth $20 or something, we're doing it mainly because we go to stores that have like really good vibes and it's like people we like playing with. So that is maybe more the motivator now than it was previously, but yeah, for sure the prices.
But I think that's right. It depends on the set, right? If it is, for example, I think Fable, we were excited because Maleficent Dragon, it looks super cool, the card. And then again back with this set, because I really like that Tinkerbell, the looks of it, and the play match looks insane. It's so beautiful. I think I like their new template. Yeah, like reducing the text, right, of champion in the corners, more discreet. I think I'm a big fan of that. So because of that, as Charlie said, I think I feel more like I really want to do it. I really want to try a chance to get this. But every other set championship, it was more just to play with our friends, really, because I think it clicks another approach to how we play when we were playing competitively with our friends. So I think it's a chance to see that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But we're very lucky, as we said, the places we go are very friendly. Sometimes some sharks will come, some very competitive people will come, but it's still a very nice energy. It's just everyone respecting each other as it should. And like literally we could be playing, I would say, no, you can redo this display if you need, right? If you did something wrong, etc., etc. We're never super competitive or super picky with those things. So I think it's that part as well. But of course, for our collection, I would just like having every single one of the promo cards, and when we can, to get the mats as well. But then usually I just look at Charlie and it's like, you have to win, do the job for us and get a play mat. But it's been good, actually. I think we've been very consistent.
And we managed to get the champ playmat for every set championship up until rotation happened, and then since then it's just like, I don't think either of us have really vibed with the meta game, so it's been a lot less like we haven't wanted to put as much of the energy into it, and it is what it is.
But this one I really want, so hopefully if we don't get it.
Okay, so you got 2 shots this weekend.
I have 2 shots. If we don't get it, we might have to buy it. I don't know, because it's so pretty.
You only need 1 chance. You'll be fine. Go in there with your hyper aggro. Everyone's going to be running blur pool anyway. You'll be fine.
Fingers crossed.
Had quite a few listeners join us recently who are just new to Lorcana in general. You know, there seems to be a lot of sort of growth in the game recently. I've noticed it myself. There's a lot of new players coming into our locals. I'm seeing a lot of new comments online and stuff. You know, obviously set champs is a big thing. You know, like you said, you got the prize in the set champs, you got the match, you got the cards. But, you know, would you have any advice for any people that are new to the game that are sort of worried about set champs? Like, because it is a big step. If you've never played in the set champs before, you've only ever played at home, or you've only ever been to your local store but never taken a part in that next step of competitive, was there be any sort of advice? Because obviously we know that you guys are so good with all your stuff with new players and, you know, reaching out to the community and that side of things. Was there anything you would say for people that are on that borderline of stepping into set champs?
I mean, I think like with everything, like you should always give it a try if you're not sure. I think you can kind of set your expectations. Like a lot of people will say, "Oh, I really like playing my, Poker Hunter Steam deck. Can I take it to set champs and have a chance?" And I think sadly the reality is a lot of people are doing these things because they want to win the cards. So just as long as you have your expectation set that if you don't bring like a meta deck, then you maybe aren't going to have like a great result. And if you're happy with that, you're just going for the experience, you're just going for the participation card. I think that's super cool. But I think also just kind of know the store and know the vibe. So like if it's a local store that you play in already, then you can probably expect to be playing a lot of the same people. And I think that can be a lot less intimidating than going to a store you've never been to and it's the first time and it's like a whole new crowd. So I think that was it for us. When we did our first set champs, we went to our local store, which was really cool. And it was a good kind of easing into the situation. And then from that, we felt comfortable enough to go to a couple of other stores to try it out.
But I think that's pretty much it. I would also suggest starting with some place that you feel comfortable, or at least bringing people that you know to be there with you. And at the end of the day, in my experience, it's never, that might not be the right wording, but it's never as bad as you think it will be in terms of social anxiety. Because some people, like us, right? Charlie and I actually are very anxious people in social environments, in social situations. So every time we decide to go to a different shop that we've never been, we go to the same thought process. Oh my God, is it going to be good? Are we going to meet people that maybe are not nice? And it's so hard to do the first move, right? But what I realized with time is it's never bad. I don't think we ever had a negative experience to the point to hold us back, right? So I feel like go out there, experiment, and bring someone that you feel comfortable with. So there's someone to rely on if you do feel a little bit out of place. Yeah. But just have fun. The community in Lorcana actually is so nice. We don't have a reference point because we don't play other TCGs, right? But honestly, we only have, like I said, great experiences, right? Everyone is being super respectful, super friendly. Everyone likes Disney, or at least I hope everyone that is playing the game likes Disney. So there's always a similar.
You've always got an icebreaker. Like one of the,
Exactly.
I'm always surprised because Matthias and I are like Disney fans first and foremost, and we love the Disney parks. And it's interesting how many people you'll sit down with to play a match at a set champs, and they'll have a story about a Disney park. So you've always got that common ground, and I think that it's like such a natural icebreaker in those situations. And the last thing I'll say is actually, I think 3 sets ago, some people came to our local store for a set championship, and it was their first time playing outside of their house. And now they're like some of our best friends, and we're hanging out all the time. So there's like, it's always an opportunity to kind of grow your circle as well and find more people that you like playing with.
And that's how they start coming to the local game store that we play, because it was such a small group at first. And then through set championship, we met other people that had similar taste. And honestly, it sounds like exaggerated, but they are literally our best friends nowadays. We don't have many friends. We're new to Quebec, but literally we met people through Lorcana, and we're very thankful for that, because it's literally the people that every week I'm looking forward to go and meet, independently of the game. It's just such a nice group of people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just one of those ones of, myself, I was nervous about going to just even the local game store, talk about set champs. I've never been to anything like that. I've only ever played an online TCGs. I've never played like physical cards, and I was a bit like, am I going to get to know people or whatever? And now there's a group of us that, like you say, I mean, we were at last week. There was 10 of us that all went down to a couple's wedding. They had their wedding on the Wednesday, and we all went in the evening, and so it was really nice. And it's stuff like that you don't expect to get from going and playing a card game.
It is
and like
insane.
you say, yeah, and it is. I found everyone who plays this game, like you say, everyone's really friendly, really happy to play. It's part of the enjoyment and part of the community that we get with this game that seems to work so well.
Yeah, my granddaughter plays Lorcana as well, so she comes along with me. She's 11 now, so I was a bit nervous the first time because I was like, how is she going to find it? I'm like, I'll be okay, I'll manage whatever, but how's she going to find it? And people just looked after her. It was amazing, actually. Her opponents were sort of helping her out with stuff, and nobody was trying to take advantage of her age, and she actually had the best time, and I was kind of checking on her. You're right. She's like, yeah, I'm fine. Kind of leave me alone.
Nice. And it was her interest because of Disney as well, I'm guessing. Or was she like, did she ever go to stores to play before? I'm guessing that's the first time.
Yeah. So we, as you said there, we'd been playing at a local game store, and so that was the set champs that we went to first time, because I knew she'd be more sort of comfortable, but had a lot of outside players come in. So she was playing against people that she hadn't met before. But yeah, everybody's been super nice that we've met so far. It's been great.
Amazing.
I mean, she even held her own at DLC as well, didn't you? You took her to the Birmingham DLC, and she did really well there as well. So, it's showing. It's one of those ones that I'd take my daughter as well, and it's one of those ones of just seeing them sit down and play against these adults and being able to like have a full on communication and conversation with them. Whereas they wouldn't do that normally. You wouldn't normally sit a child in a situation where it's right, you got to sit across this adult and have a conversation for the next hour. So it helps them, and it helps. I found watching any of the kids that come and play at our local stuff, it just helps them all round, in their general progression into making these conversations and stuff. So it's really nice. It's really really good for the community, what we find. But so going back on a little bit more, pushing us back onto the topic of bits and bobs. One of the things that we'd like to try and cover, especially with, like we say, new players coming into the game, is when you're nervous. Anyone does it. I've done it. Everyone does it. You make misplays, right? You're gonna do things that you wouldn't normally do. You're gonna, potentially, like you say, try and ink something that you can't, or anything like that. But we like to try and make a joke out of our misplays, and try and say, look, we've done it. This is what we did. Try and learn from us. But was there any? Can you think of any big misplays that you've made yourself that you'd like to confess to?
Well, I can.
But you can go first. Yeah.
Well, again, DLC. So it was I was at that point where if I didn't win my game, I was going to not be able to get the Mulan promo card. So I was like, I normally am like a super fast player. I just play. I don't really think about it. But it was like a really complicated board state. My opponent had like 5 or 6 characters. I had a bunch of characters. So I spent probably 5 minutes. I was like lining things up, counting them out, making sure that I could clear his board and win. And then I did it all, and there was still a character left, and he won the game. So that was a pretty bad misplay, mainly because I was like, I just wasted so much of both of our times, and it still didn't work.
Well, that for me happens all the time. It doesn't sound like a misplay, but mine was more serious, and I'm very ashamed of it. I actually talked about that in our podcast. I think we touched that subject a little bit, but there was also the LC Gant. It was more of not knowing how the effect was resolved than a misplay. But then as a conclusion, me and my opponent, because they didn't know either. So the conclusion was we thought, okay, that is like that. They were very resistant to call judge, because I said, let's call a judge. It'll be the best way. We can sort this out. They were very resistant, and they said, oh, I trust you because you're playing your deck, so you probably know all the synergies. And I'm like, I don't. You shouldn't trust me. But like, I wish I knew everything. But I of course, I'm playing in an honesty way, and I thought it was like that. But then I went, well, let me better explain what happened. So I was using the Pocahontas, the new Amethyst Pocahontas, that when you quest, they quest for 1, but then they also get the total number of lore from another character that is exerted, either yours or your opponent's. I think you probably might even remember better than me, because I panicked right after I was running.
I think you had 2
I think I had 2 Pocahontas.
Yeah.
So I was using the second Pocahontas to get the lore from the previous Pocahontas that got the lore from another card, right? So that was the sequence of events. But in my head, I thought it was additive. I literally thought those piled up, so the value will be way bigger.
So I think you said you quested with the Daisy Duck for 2, quested with the Pocahontas for 1 + 2, and then quested with the other Pocahontas and targeted the first Pocahontas and was like, I'm going to get 1 + 3.
4. Yeah. So it would be like 2 + 3 + 4, right? Pretty much. And I think the conclusion is that's not the case, but we actually didn't know. I think we were back and forth, Charlie and I, after the game ended, right? The match ended. But long story short, because the game finished very fast anyway, because it was aggro. I did very badly, by the way, at the LC Gant. I was playing aggro. In the same thought process, I brought like this junky deck just to have fun and play fast. But there was plenty of time between once our round finished. So I tried to find a judge to tell the judge what happened. I explained that the person didn't want to call a judge, just because I felt like actually, in conclusion, I think what I did is not correct. Gameplay-wise, I think it was a mistake. So I wanted to understand what is the process here. Because for me, I didn't care if I had to change the result and put that they won, even though technically they couldn't have won anyway, just because of where we were in the match. Like, that wouldn't happen. But I felt bad. So I was literally myself running around the LC Gant, looking for that one person that I play for 20 minutes and I don't know who that person is at that gigantic event, and trying to see before that ended, because if that ends and it starts the next set of people, right, it wouldn't work. And calling judge to see what their opinion was, and then at the end of the day they said, don't worry about it. Like, if the guy was really concerned, he would agree to call the judge. But I felt really bad, because for me, I knew that I wouldn't get to day 2 anyway, right? Like winning that match doesn't mean anything to me in that scenario. So I felt a little bit bad. So that was my misplay, but it was not in purpose. It was really a misplay, and I still don't know the answer. But I think she couldn't technically do that, right?
Yeah, but I think the main thing coming out of it was just because I think that is something that's super intimidating for new players, is calling a judge, because you're like surrounded by people. You've got to raise your hand, you've got to shout. So I think in Mateus' situation, he shouldn't have been shy. Like, I think if ever there's any confusion between 2 players, instead of debating it between yourselves, just get a judge involved. They'll make the call, and then you don't end up in a situation.
I wouldn't be worried to call. I just felt that, because I really insisted and they didn't want to. And then it got to a point that I was like, they really don't want to. They don't seem comfortable. But in retrospect, I should have, of course, because then I panicked for the rest of the day. I just felt bad for the rest of the day. If I had called the judge, I wouldn't be feeling like that. But anyway,
it was one of those ones. We had a head judge on from. She does a lot of events in the UK. She was co-head judge at Worlds, I believe.
Okay.
Imogen, and when she was on, she was saying that's the biggest thing that she can't stress enough to people is don't be scared to call a judge. We all know it's weird. It's like going to bingo and having to stick your hand up and shout bingo. No one wants to do it, but you want the prize that comes along with it. But it's the same sort of concept of like you say, raising your hand and really shouting doesn't naturally sit comfortable with a lot of people. Whereas unfortunately, in those times, and sometimes you do need to do it. I've actually seen someone at an event who actually asked their opponent next to him to do it for him because they felt a little bit odd about it. So they just said, "Could you call a judge for me?" And they didn't care. They just hand up. So that's always one way around it. If you're not confident in shouting yourself, or your opponent doesn't want to, or whatever, you can just, most of the time you sit next to someone, just say, could you call a judge over? So
that's a good tip.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those ones that is a little bit weird, but it's you get used to it after a little while.
For sure. I think he was worried that if he did that, he would be offending me because he wasn't believing on me. And I told him that's not the case. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know either, right? But anyway, it's gone. And I think the lesson was, yes, we should have called. Yeah.
Yeah, the judges are there to just help us through the game, aren't they? They're not there to tell anyone that they're wrong or tell anyone off. They're there to help us to get to the right answer in the game so that we can get on with enjoying the game that we love. So
I've heard it equated to like customer service. They're there to kind of help us and make sure nothing bad happens. So like, I think when you flip your like thinking about it, and it's like, yeah, that's actually true. They're just there to make sure things go smoothly. I think it becomes a lot less intimidating.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we've looked a bit into the future of the game and what's coming up, but we want to rewind it a little bit. So where did it all start for you both? What is your history with TCGs for Lorcana? Were you always Disney fans? And, is it the TCG that brought you guys together and into this? Or, what drew you into Lorcana?
Go on.
Oh, you
can go.
Well, so yeah, we are Disney fans. Like, that's a big thing for us. And I think anything like even tangentially related to Disney, we're gonna always try out. I think eventually, like Matthias plays Dreamlight Valley, he plays Solitaire, all of the Disney games. So
we worked on Disney Infinity in the past. So that was a very old game with figurines, Touch to Life that you put in the base and they appear. So we worked on that as well because we are in the game industry. So anything Disney, we ended up touching, watching, going to the parks. I think we love the parks.
Yeah.
Out of everything we have to rank, I think our biggest passion is on the parks. Right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So then with Lorcana, it was actually a friend of ours was like, I think back when it was announced at D23, he was like, "Oh, hey, there's this new Disney trading card game. Like, you guys should check it out." And we saw it. And I think even though we love everything Disney, we are not TCG players, or we weren't TCG players, so we kind of saw him, we're like, oh, that looks cute, and then forgot about it. But then after it had launched, I think it was probably early October, so it had been out. I think it came out, or maybe it was in September. Sorry, yeah. So it came out in August, and I think we found out about, or in September, Matthias had just gone down a rabbit hole. I think you saw a video on YouTube, and then you started clicking on that video, clicked on another video, and then
I was probably bored, and then I saw something and started clicking and clicking.
So this was like, he started in the morning, and then by like 6 p.m. he's like, I want to like go and get some Lorcana cards. I found this guy. He's like an hour away. He says we'll have to meet him in a parking lot. He only has the starter decks. There are no booster packs in them, and we're like, okay, let's do it. So we went. And then on the car ride there, Matthias was like, maybe we should play, like just watch the how to play videos on YouTube. So I like had my phone watching the videos, and then so we got the decks, we brought them home, and I think we started playing at like 10 o'clock, and we ended up playing, like we finished around 2 a.m. because we were just like, this is so much fun. We love this. And like, I think neither of us were really expecting it.
No, not at all. Because we got the Amber Amethyst, so there was Moana and Mickey Mouse, and Charlie got the Simba and Aurora.
The Sapphire Steel.
Sapphire Steel. So those were our first decks, and I think I still have that love for Amethyst. He still have that love for Ruby, Sapphire, even though I suppose it changed a lot. Yeah, but it's still like, But as Charlie said, we didn't know what to expect. At that point, I just wanted the cards more than anything. It was less about the gameplay. I just wanted the cards because we like collecting, and I thought it was very pretty. But also the reality was there was no products, right? During the first chapter. There was no products. And then people were like, as Charlie said, reselling starter decks because they will buy and take the booster pack out. So that's how we managed to get our own starter decks. But as soon as we played, it was so good, right? Because we didn't know what to expect. Like I did play when I was young a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, but literally just because of the cartoon, the anime, I wanted to have those cards similarly. So I never got into it. And Lorcana was the first time that actually gameplay for TCG made sense to me. And it feels so thematic, right? Everything actually, the mechanics feels in line to what you'd expect from those characters and so on. So from there, we just got addicted.
And
I think that was a jump. It was so fast from there to content creation as well.
Yeah, because the only way really you could get packs in Montreal was like local game stores had a really limited supply. So we found a store that was like, again, it was like an hour drive away from where we lived. But if you took part in their league, you could buy a pack. So it wasn't even free packs or packs included. It was like you could buy a pack. I was like, okay. And I think if you were in like the top 3, then you got some extra packs. So because we couldn't buy packs anywhere, we were like, okay, we'll go to this league. And that was like the first time we'd ever stepped foot into a local game store. Like we didn't know what LGS meant at the time, but we went down. It was super intimidating, but we went and we had a great time. And then we ended up going a few weeks until packs were readily available. And then we stopped doing the hour drive because we were like, this is too much.
And I think we actually met so many people in that situation, right? Remember, that was the Brazilian as well. Literally everyone was going from work, like after work, driving to the store to play. They might not even want to play at that moment, but they will play to be able to buy a pack, to be able to open like literally 12 cards.
It was like the Wild West back then.
It was crazy. But then everyone got addicted.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I remember in first chapter, because I started, I think it was in between set 1 and set 2. I can't remember exactly when, but I remember trying to get hold of product, and it was like buying single packs was a nightmare. And I remember finding a trove and managed to pick up a first chapter trove for like 80 quid. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's like now I'm like, oh my God, I paid double the price for it. You know, it's like mental. But back then it was like, oh my God, I found this. It's got 8 packs in it. You know, this is going to last us ages. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, oh, I need to open some more now. It is.
Yeah, I had to get my stepdaughter involved. So my granddaughter was coming with me. So it was like, okay, as you say, so 2 of us entering, we get 2 packs, that's great. And then I was like, can't buy any other packs. So my stepdaughter, I'm like, you like Disney? She's like, yeah. I'm like, right, I'm going to show you this card game and you're coming along on Friday night because that's another pack.
And you will give me the pack. You don't want the pack. You tell her.
It has to be like a deliberate marketing thing that they made it so scarce early on. So people were doing things like that because it's just bringing more people into the game.
So you obviously got into your, as you say, content creation came pretty quickly. Was that, how did that come about? Did that just...
I think it really came out of us when we were searching for content. So like I said, we'd never been to an LGS. We Googled like playing Disney Lorcana at an LGS and we couldn't find any videos. And there were a few different topics where we just kind of looked online, tried to find the information and we couldn't. And I don't know exactly when and where we made the decision, but we're like, we can make these videos. Like we can make a video on like how to play because, you know, we couldn't find any good how to play videos online, or we can make a video about how to play at an LGS specifically. So it kind of just it came out of that really. I think
in search of the answers, we thought there's a space here, and we like creating things, even though we never did content creation before per se. So it was like a kind of a hobby, and as I said earlier, we met so many people through Lorcana, and at that time as well, we were relatively new to Quebec because we were living in England before actually. So we lived in Brighton before moving back to Canada. So for us, it was a way to meet people right through that hobby. And then when we started meeting and making some friends with Lorcana or in Lorcana, there were 2 other friends that kind of went in the same idea. So initially, actually, Inkborn Heroes for the first month, no, probably more, the first 2 months or so, it was 4 people. So it was me, Charlie, Sherry, and Eric. So that's the group of people that we met in the local game store. So it was kind of a combined effort to say, let's make content to answer the questions that we have through our own content while we're having fun. But then we quickly realized that I think their pacing and the things that they had to focus on wouldn't be able to put as much time as we wanted for creating content. And I think one thing that we always had in mind as well, maybe it was more on our heads than anything, but when we started doing content for Lorcana, we felt that we were already behind the OGs that were creating content even before Lorcana came out, right? Mm-hmm. When Lorcana was first announced. So for us, there was a lot of catching up on. So unless we were to do content that not only looked good and is informative, but also consistent, like very, very fast, I didn't think we'll be able to get appreciated or compete in a way. I'm saying compete, of course, not competing, but you know what I mean, with what it was out there already. So as such, we realized that because Charlie and I live together, of course, we share the same ideas, etc. It made sense to just be the 2 of us, because then we can actually act and have full control over those things. So then from there, the other two friends, they said, okay, we will step down. It's okay. Doesn't matter. We were still friends and playing and et cetera, et cetera. But the Inkborn Heroes ended up being just us. But it was an answer to the things that we couldn't find. So we wanted to create a portal to give the answers to new players, especially casual players. And that evolved, of course. We started touching a little bit more on the meta, a little bit on the deck building.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, deck building is quite a lot, but it always started from a casual side. Yeah.
And we never planned to do the Instagram. It was we basically were just going to do YouTube, and then actually one of the other two people we started with was like, I'll just make some social media profiles. So they did like a Twitter, they did an Instagram and whatnot. And then at some point, I think Matthias was just like, oh, I can use the Instagram to push people toward the videos. So we started just like saying, hey, we've got a new video, come and check it out. And then I think that's the thing that kind of exploded the most. And I think covering the reveals, covering the news, and then now sometimes we'll get people like coming up to us and saying, oh, I didn't even know you had a YouTube. I just thought you had the Instagram accounts. So
it's a funny one because it was literally, we quickly realized that the Instagram could funnel people to the YouTube. That was the main goal initially. It was just to do that. And if you see some of our content, or well, the majority of our content that we make, we want to make sure that it connects. So you get a little bit on Instagram and it ends on YouTube, or vice versa. So we always try to connect to be able to make sure that people are aware that the rest is here. So for example, when we're talking about hidden Mickeys or continuous art, we'll have a post on Instagram showing a couple or a few, and then the remaining ones you'll find in the video. So you have to go to the video.
No, so right, I just need to get my notepad.
So we quickly realized that loop was working quite well. And then of course, then review season start happening, and we saw as well there was an opportunity here because there weren't many people at the time actually doing that. I think there was only Mushu report.
It was just Mushu.
No
one was posting card reveals on social media, and we just kind of know, like as people who use the internet, like social media is like the way a lot of people get their news. Like I don't go on the Guardian's website. I have the Guardian on my Instagram, and that's how I get the stories from the Guardian. So we were like, okay, maybe and we did it almost selflessly. We were just like, let's just put that information out there because we know it's information people want. And then it's just kind of snowballed. And now, like, obviously, there are so many accounts doing that, which is really cool. But yeah, it was just, it kind of, again, it was almost born out of, no one else is doing this, we should probably do it.
Exactly. But it helps though as well, even now having the other accounts, because it's so hard, to be honest.
It's so hard to keep up,
so hard.
I was going to say, how organized you have to be to keep on top, because they just come out at such a rate, and obviously they're being revealed in all different places and platforms. And
He evolved a lot. I do nowadays, to be fair, I can rely on some of those other portals now because they are doing as well. So if I have any question, a doubt of, hey, did I miss a card today? I'll look at their profile and I see, actually, no, it is here because they're also doing their part now, but in the process of looking. But I think since 3 sets ago, maybe, or 4 sets ago, there is the list of cards to be revealed that Ravensburger themselves shares, right? So there is a database now, which wasn't the case before. Before, we would literally have to look through hell to find everything. Yeah. Now there's literally like a Discord server, right? Or the channel in Discord that you can check. This is coming from North America. This is coming from this. This is coming from there. Having said that, it's not always up to date. I'll tell you that.
And some content creators
they do like dropping the odd
window.
one.
Yeah.
And sometimes it get also shared before you should have shared. And then that's the hardest part, because in my position, I'm like, because usually I'm the one posting the cards myself, but in the Instagram, I mean. So in my position, I'll be like, I have to share this because it got revealed. I have to be fast to be relevant. But then suddenly I have to do the due diligence of checking with Ravensburger. Was this an official review or is this a leak? Because there's that part of things as well. And it's so hard because it's been getting more and more out of control, not just for cards, but new products, the box of the products, the new mechanics, the enchanted leaks, etc., etc. So we fall in some of those traps in the past, but we are in a position now that our relationship with Ravensburger has been solidified, I would say. So they trust us that if we ever post something that we shouldn't, it wasn't in purpose. And then, of course, we'll correct ourselves and remove.
Yeah.
But it can be hard. It can be very hard, I'll be honest. But it's also very fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, it seems weird you saying that, you felt like you guys were behind and like it was like something of you feel like you have to catch up. But then, like, you are, you know, as far as I'm concerned, Lorcana on YouTube. You know, if you look for any Lorcana content on YouTube, it's you guys. You know, you are the biggest Lorcana content creators on YouTube, and I think on Insta as well.
Yes.
And you know, it's like you know, you've just hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, so you know, massive congratulations for that. That's a massive milestone, and I think your videos are just coming up to 2 million views as well. Which
I didn't even see it.
It's coming up, not quite yet.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's like, did you ever really think when you started this as a thing of like, oh, let's do this, let's play, or you know, we can do this, or basically you're looking at content and going, we can do this, let's do this, but at your top notch range that you do, did you ever think it would get as big as it has?
No, I think, when we started, there were like obviously people in the community we really looked up to, and a big one for us was Steadfast. I don't know if you ever watched their content. They don't make content anymore, sadly, but
it's beautiful content.
like
beautiful.
such good quality, like really good. And I think he was when we started well over 10,000 subscribers. So we're like, that's where we'd like to get. We didn't think we ever would, but we were like, we had someone that we admired, and we were like, okay, that's kind of the level of quality we want to hit. If we can get to that many subs, we'd love it. But it definitely was very slow at the start. But like we do a lot of like reading around the topic, because we never created content. So we're like, how should you create content? Like, what's a good strategy for content? We looked at our analytics a lot, so we kind of prioritize like, these videos do really well, these videos don't do so well, so let's focus on the ones that do well. And I think we've applied kind of the best practices we could to help the channel grow. And then I think also there's a lot of organic growth as well. The people just coming into the game also helps, because we have like a lot of guides. So now if someone's curious, like how does shifting work, or how does singing work, we have a video on that. So it's kind of, again, funneling. So people will find our videos because we've got the guide, and then because we've got the guide, they might subscribe, and then they'll stick around because they'll see, oh, we've got gameplay, we've got box openings, we've got the news. So we kind of try to approach it from that perspective. And there's like this whole theory with content creation, and I'm not going to be able to remember the 3 types of content, but it's like,
evergreen content is one of our biggest priority, right? Being able to have something that is always relevant.
And so the evergreen content is things like guides. So that's the stuff that's always relevant, is going to bring people in. There's the hero content. So that's like big videos that are kind of a little bit more interesting. So I would say we did a video about like the first year of Disney Lorcana metagame that like took us a lot of time, which is kind of like bringing in people like that way. And then there's I think it's called the hygiene content. It's something like that. But so there's like 3 different types of content, and we try and, when we do content, think about it in those terms of like, which one do we need to do now? At least we try to. At the moment, it's a little bit just like, we need to put a video up this week.
It's just fast, because I think we try to cover so many. Like I said, initially it was about being more of the casual side, but then we also realized that to grow as fast as we wanted to, we'll have to start getting a little bit of all the sides of Lorcana, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit more of the trivia, a little bit more of the meta, a little bit more of everything, really. But still trying to stay ourselves, because at the end of the day, we don't have the same knowledge as a super competitive player, and we know that. We try to make that very clear in our content. But I lost my line of thought.
Well, yeah, I think, we try to, because we were very much beginner focused, and then as we've grown as players, we're also trying to create content that helps people bridge the gap. So if they're like someone who's never played a TCG, well, what are some TCG fundamentals they could maybe apply when they're playing? And so like just researching that and actually finding out like what's card advantage, reading Frank Carson articles, and then just putting that into a video, because that's like a way people can consume the content.
But I think to your question in specific, I think Charlie and I had a different expectation behind it. In my mind, because it was always just about YouTube, right? Instagram happened, then whatever. What are the other platforms? I don't even know. We have a website. We have this. We have
Discord.
that. Discord. I can't even use Discord. I don't even know. I didn't even know how to reply to your messages, mind you. When you message me on Discord, I don't know how to use it. But I'm very not tech savvy when it comes to that. But in my mind, because of the YouTube-centric approach I had in mind, I always had that dream of getting to 100,000 to get that plaque. Because there's the plate, right, of YouTube. It's the silliest goal ever. But in my mind, it was like, that's the goal I want, just because it proves out that something worked out, right? And I don't know, maybe it
Yeah.
will happen, maybe it won't. It depends of how quick the community grows as well, right? But it sounds funny to say, but literally from the first subscriber, that's a goal I want to achieve. And I think that's kind of what motivates me to get to that point. And I could have said probably a better answer, a more community-based answer, but for me, it was literally getting to that number. Independent of what it means by that, it's just the feeling of we succeeded and we achieved something that we are very passionate about. And we are very passionate people. And I think we are very perfectionist people. And it can be tiring because of that, because we could probably do more content and cover more things if we were less passionate, but because we want to really, less perfectionist, but because we really want everything to look clean, neat, and have the way that we want to display content, it means that it takes longer. But I would, myself, I need that. I cannot release something that it doesn't feel like to that standard. And I'm not saying this in a judgmental tone, by no means. I just mean, because my passion is through how it looks and how it feels. If I don't do it that way, I won't feel passionate doing it. So why would I do it in the first place, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a hobby. The content creation is a hobby. We're doing because I love opening Photoshop and then making something look super nice. If I don't do that, what's the point of doing? I think that's kind of the thought process for me behind it.
That's one of the things. Sorry, I was just going to say, it's one of the things for me that, at least, that really sets you apart. Your production quality is just incredible, and in preparing for tonight's show, I actually went back and tried to find some of your sort of oldest videos, and your production quality was still great then.
That's also.
I mean, where does that come from? Is that something that you've just been self-taught and you just sort of practiced, and as you said, watch videos, and where did that come from?
I think there's two things to that. Well, first, we are in the game industry, so we do use not properly video editing or stuff like that, but I do have to touch Photoshop when we're doing level, because I started as a level designer, so there's a lot about actually creating the map layouts from the top. We call paper layouts and such. And I also, when I was young, I would just create websites. So I like making assets on Photoshop and so on. But they split really in the way we create things. Is Charlie is pretty much the video editing guru, and I am on the Photoshop side and the Instagram side and so on. So all the cool things you see on YouTube is pretty much Charlie, and I think he can comment further, but I think he was trying to recreate cool things that he saw. So he will be self-teaching himself. How do I execute the same thing I saw? And he'll spend the time learning. But we got to a point, and you can probably see in the type of content we do, that we are templatizing things. Because that's what it is, right? Every single set, there is a bunch of things that are similar to the previous set, but with some changes. So we could templatize things, not to only save time, but also to kind of create an identity for each of those materials, right? And keep going and going and going. But it's interesting because we have a joke between us, because you use the example of going to old videos, right? We look at old posts on Instagram, and I'm like, I can't believe we posted that. It's crazy. Like, then we see like how it changed and how there's always a space to get better and better, right? Because we're still learning.
And I think we're like, we're always iterating on something, and like we always want our next post to be our best post, or our next video to be our best video, and we'll like, I look back on those old videos and really cringe just because they're so bad. But I think it's also nice to be able to look back and see the progression. But Matthias was saying he's like a perfectionist. I want it to look good, but I'm also incredibly lazy. So I'm always trying to find like the shortcut to be able to do something that looks good and that's quick. And it took, I was editing videos for probably 6 months before I found out you could just like drag and drop something and replace the layer. So like when we do a video and you see a card animating, now I just animate it once and then replace it every time I have to do another card. Whereas before I was literally like putting the card, going in, animating it by hand, doing the next one. So I think that's been the main thing for us. Like the thing that enables us to improve the quality is that we learn all of the shortcuts to be able to do it. And like even things like when we edit audio in a video, before we would listen to the audio, we'd manually cut it, but you can actually get like text transcripts of it, so you can like transcribe the video, you can see where all of the pauses are, just go in and like click and delete them, and just like things like that make it so much easier.
And we didn't know that, right? I think a lot of people that are starting content creation, they might not know that because we don't know that tool exists, right? And then as you go, you start learning. And of course, I think part of that, I think the transcript specifically, we learned from Katie from the Lore Keepers I think. So like between the content creators, they were like, oh, you know that there's this tool and that tool, and then we're helping each other organically, right, to kind of boost each other's process through content creation. So it's been cool. I said many times in this call, but it did take time. I think there is still things that we could probably do faster, and we're still getting used to that. But also the beauty of, because probably the reason why some of those things takes longer is because maybe a new type of content, brand new, comes out, and then we don't have a template for that. But that also means that it shows how Lorcana is evolving as a game, because then there's a completely new thing that we have never covered, because it's a completely new mechanic, a completely new keyword, as we said. And so it is cool to see that evolution. It shows off as well through the game, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's one of those ones. We're quite lucky. The program we're using, tonight does the whole thing of the transcripts and stuff like that. So I definitely know what you mean on that side of things. It definitely makes things a lot easier. So,
well, spoiler alert. Sorry to cut you. You will have a hard time because my accent is terrible, and often the transcript does not understand. So good luck with that.
It is funny reading it back and like you see a word and it's like it's transcribed it as like some crazy swear word, or it's done like some crazy sentence. Like, what is that? And you have to listen to it back to see what it was actually saying.
So obviously, I've just noticed the time, so we don't want to keep you too long. So we just want to do a few quick fire round questions with you guys. So it's nothing, don't worry about thinking about it too much. Just off the top of your head, what do you reckon? So I'll read a couple and then me and Glenn swap out. So
Okay.
Card sleeves, plain or flashy artwork?
You can go first.
Plain.
Yeah, plain. I think every time I got one with flashy artwork, they've just felt terrible to play with. So I always go back to plain ones.
Nice.
So, favorite snack to take to a tournament?
Ooh, just lots of water for me. I like to stay hydrated.
I think the protein bar. What's the name? The bars that you have?
Belvita, right? I think is what Zan Sayed recommends.
So those little bars, those nutrient bars, just anything that is not sticking the hand. Because naturally, I would want to eat crisps, but my hand will be all messed up. So I'll just get those nutrient bars.
Yeah, you can't sit there and eat a bag of what's it,
I wish. They would just be like.
So your first chase card.
First chase.
Oh, for me it was Rockstar Stitch, the set champs card. I think when I saw that, I was like, I have to have it.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
nice.
I think I don't know. Do you know for me? Because I probably said
You always wanted the Belle Enchanted from the first chapter.
Yeah, I think, and I don't have. So I think her. But in my mind, I was remembering as well of Alice, the Alice Enchanted from the second set, the giant girl. That one we did pull on Christmas, crazy enough. So that was amazing. But yeah, the bell. You're right. The bell. Maybe I'm good. Now I need to buy a bell because.
Yeah. What have you done?
Favorite Disney movie?
Can we include Pixar or not?
I think Pixar's coming to the set. I think it's close enough.
Okay, so for me, Toy Story 2. And if it's just Disney, probably Basil the Great Mouse Detective. Yeah.
I think for me, I have a hard time choosing between the Beauty and the Beast and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. It's the two that I really like. Yeah.
Nice. So are you a risky mulligan taker, or do you play it safe and just put one back?
I'm a Steel Song player, so you can never be risky. You've got so many Uninkables in the deck. You have to be conservative. So I'm definitely a conservative alterer.
I am risky just because I can't. Sorry, I can't be bothered thinking too much about it. You should cut that part. Yeah, so I'm risky.
Right, where's the clip button?
Most annoying deck to play against?
I'll go first.
Go on.
Anything with Sapphire. I'm not even talking about deck. I just look at Sapphire. Someone is calculating like their ink, they're doing this and that. I got to a point that I don't even try to understand what they're doing. If they could be tricking me, I'll be like, okay, I believe you. You can do that. But usually, Sapphire still, I think. But anything Sapphire for me.
Yeah, Ruby Sapphire for me. I have so much trauma.
So do you prefer a loud table or would you prefer the room to be silent? you feel more pressure when it's silent? I don't know whether you've had it. I've had it a few times where I've been like down to the last person, so they're waiting for you to finish your game before we can move on, and you've got 30 people all sitting there watching you.
Ooh. I like a silent room. I have like if there's too much noise, too much stimulation, my brain gets overworked. So I like quiet.
I think if I'm
Nice.
not playing, like I kind of I think I agree with what you said. Like if I'm playing and it's silent and people are behind me watching me, I cannot play. I just feel too distracted by that. I feel like observed. So in that sense, in a tournament scenario, I like the noise because then it means that it's being distracting, and if that makes sense, it's not about me; it's about the space. But I feel like even if we are in a quiet room, I'm usually the cause of the noise because I talk very loudly. So it'll be very ironic if I say be quiet, but I'm making all the noise.
And set champs coming up this weekend. So if things don't go well, blame luck or blame yourself.
I think it's a little bit of everything. Because it's TCGs. There's so much skill, but there's almost so much luck, and I think that's what's cool about them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll blame if I lose, I'll blame the luck in the sense of they should have put me against some decks that I can handle, less so than what I'm drawing in the game. But I don't know. It's probably on me anyway.
So if there was one Disney world you could live in,
God.
We've had different answers for all of these, but wait, are we talking about parks or like Disney universe?
Disney
no,
universe.
as in like universe.
Ooh.
Oh my
It is
God.
hard. I really like the universe of Up. I think
There's nothing there.
No, I like that. Just the idea of just like living on the cliff with some nice views, no one around. That sounds amazing.
Boring. I don't know.
Up is the real world. I just realized.
That's what I mean. It's literally the real world.
I've got no imagination.
I don't know. I think. Oh, that's so hard. I wish I had time to think. In my mind, it's coming something like a mix of Monsters Inc. or maybe is it Onward? Okay. Onwards with because I like the mystical, I like the fantasy word, and then on the Monsters Inc. it's just because I like the monsters, I like the craziness, yeah. So something along those lines there.
Most underrated Disney character?
Ooh, well, I think Hunchback of Notre Dame is the most underrated Disney film. So I would say Quasimodo is like just such a cool, interesting character that I don't think gets enough attention from Disney as a whole.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I probably talked about that before. Yeah. Do you remember? What did I say?
Maybe Quasimodo as well. We both love the Hunchback.
Yeah, maybe Quasimodo. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So then one last question for you. So obviously, I highly doubt anyone needs the answer to this one, but where can people find you?
So we are pretty much everywhere. If you you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, the main ones, both of those at Inkborn Heroes. And as Matthias said, we do have a website as well, inkbornheroes.com, which is where we also post like high-res versions of the card tracker and things like that. And we'll often go down during reveal season because it gets too much traffic and we need to figure that out.
It always breaks somehow. Yeah. We have it scored. We haven't been very active, and I apologize for that. It's hard to keep track at this point. But we have Discord as well. How do you find Discord? Is just you type
Inkborn Heroes as well. I don't know
how it works. I don't know how Discord works. There's a link in our Instagram or our YouTube. You can click. You'll go to Discord. And Charlie runs the Twitter as well, the X account. But again, I don't know why we have that.
We haven't. Well, I always say it's because I like to go on there to see which drama is being started today, because it's just always funny to see people back and forth. But we never use Twitter. Don't go to our Twitter. But we do have TikTok, which we try and post.
TikTok as well. So everywhere is Inkborn Heroes, and the website is inkbornheroes.com. Yes, that's us.
And if people are still trying to work out which deck to play for set champs, I did notice that you've just put out a video actually with 7 decks on there. I think it was a nice mix of some sort of meta decks and some off meta decks that people might like to take a look at. So that's available on YouTube. And you've just started a podcast on your YouTube channel as well.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, that is a good shout. So you can find us as well in Apple Podcast. on Spotify and YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But yes, we just started. It's being very experimental. Is that right? The word? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But we are enjoying quite a lot. I think it's a chance to be more casual, to be less about specific mechanics, less about specific topics per se. Even though we cover a topic in the video, but. It's been nice. So please come watch if you can. You can try to listen in your own car when you're driving. And we are improving our microphone setup because every single episode, somehow, the audio is not good on me. So I will get better, I promise.
Thanks for the feedback in the first one, Michael.
Yes, thank you.
That's right.
That's true.
I just noticed it's like you got these microphones and then you're both looking the other way. I was just like...
It's just hard because I move a lot, as you can see, and I want to look at Charlie. I want to look at the camera. I need 3 microphones, one in each end.
Maybe you need the caster headphones with the microphone attached.
That's a very good idea. I'll have the Shaw, and then Matthias will have the mic next to his mouth.
No, thank you very much for taking your time to come and join us. Obviously, like you say, for us, this is like having Lorcana royalty on. You guys you're such a big place in the community. So, but yeah, no, thank you very much for taking your time to join us. So, is there anything else you want to?
We just want to say thank you. As well. Honestly, we really mean it. It's nice to hear the things you're saying. It really. We appreciate the kindness, we appreciate the friendship, and we wish you guys all the best as well. Like, we love what you are making. I think it's so important as well, like getting to know the community, getting to know the other voices behind the content creation, and I think you do with a lot of love behind it. It's very visible. So thank you for doing that, and thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Today, listen to the show and learn to play. Whether you are new or you're a pro, I'm sure we have something to show. Amber, green, red, and steel, then purple, blue, complete our wheel. Listen and you'll learn some new strats to help you win some championship mats. So what ink color are you gonna choose? Inkable or uninkable? It is up to you. Choose inkable or uninkable.